Was this little documentary that came out called Quiet on Set, about Nickelodeon child stars and how they survived and what they went through, you know, as child stars, the just turmoil and man, I just can't put into words, man. But we did we did sit down and we did talk about it and give our thoughts about the documentary overall. Y'all go ahead, check it out. Here it is. Now, Melly, what were your initial thoughts about this Quiet on Set?
Um, Low key, I was kind of expecting a documentary about it because if you don't recall the actor that was on Zoe 101, I think her name is Alexa.
Alexa Nicholas.
Yes, before like documentary had before they did the documentary, she would like come out and say how she was bullied on Zoe 101. And then she
Yeah.
would like she would do videos, podcasts, saying how she was bullied and all sorts of stuff. Like she was
Yeah.
telling her story.
All right. So you expected it.
Yeah, low key I did.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess I can say the same thing because of all this stuff I was hearing about Dan Snyder. I was like, okay, somebody has to do something or a documentary or come out and say something else. Um, just because of the stuff we were hearing.
Oh, and Jeanette McCurdy too when she did the little book. She about her experience on Nickelodeon as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How I'm glad my mother died or something. What was it called?
I'm glad my mother died.
Or something like that.
I don't know.
Y'all know the book. Y'all know the book. We got yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did. Jeanette McCarthy. Yeah, she did write a book, and she said a lot of good stuff in that book. Not I shouldn't say good stuff. She told a lot of information in that book about the creator and how she was abused and how basically the abuse was like, oh, I'm gonna make you eating. I can't even talk, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm gonna, keep making you eat, even though I know you have like a food disorder. That's the abuse that she took. Probably some more abuse too, but obviously I didn't get a chance to read the book. But that's just what I know. That's kind of like in there. But yeah, so you were expecting it. I was low key expecting it too, like I said, because you hear all this stuff about Dan Snyder. I'm like, what? Not Dan Snyder. I'm like the guy in Good Burger, the manager. He played the manager in Good Burger. He creator Drake and Josh, all these the Amanda Show, all these shows and stuff. For kids that are on Nickelodeon. I didn't expect it. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be him.
Now, I did.
You did.
Because he looked like a creep to me.
Yeah, you can say, yeah, okay. I can see how you would probably say, okay, yeah, he looked crazy. But to think, I just didn't think it was as bad as they were depicting it in this documentary, because I just thought, honestly, before any of this stuff came out, I'm like, okay, these guys, these kids are, living out their dream. They got their own shows. They're having fun. I wanted to be them,
Heck yeah, I wanted to be that too. I'm like, dang, I want to have my own little show.
Right. I wanted my own show, just like, oh, I want to be on Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, whatever it is. They living the life, and then a part of me was like, oh, their parents watching over them. Or they got somebody, looking out for them, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Or, and part of me was like, oh, I trust the people that are on set. They're working with kids, adults working with kids. Of course, they're looking out for their best interest, right? The studio, blah, blah, blah. But y'all, if y'all watch this documentary, that is not the case. Not the case. Not the case whatsoever. Like, not one bit. But let's just get into this documentary, right? So, what were your thoughts about hearing all these allegations, some allegations, some, people were actually charged, and some of the stuff that happened to these kids at the time, while they were employed by Nickelodeon. So what were your initial thoughts like about finding out all these things that happened? I guess we could just go down the list. First of all, it was first they talked through there was this one girl that was on the show who I think was on the Amanda Bynes show, and they fired her just because she was started to look older than what she was.
Oh, because she hit puberty or something like that.
Yeah, because she hit puberty. And that's crazy in itself. Like, really? That's red flag number one. Like, all these red flags coming up, like, why? What? Like, just to be out of a job because you hit puberty and you don't.
Just because you look different.
Just because you look different. You look older. And apparently, they don't like you to look older. Red flag number one. Okay, and the second one was this mother who came in and talked about her daughter's time in Nickelodeon. The daughter didn't show up because I think it's probably hard for her to talk about. But predator number one, I guess you could say. I can't remember his name. I should remember his name, but I can't remember his name per se. But it was he basically sent explicit photos to the child actor at the time, and in the email, sent explicit photos in email. And how this started was basically he was helping the child actor at the time with, helping her, helping her with things,
I like helping her with the lines, helping her get new auditions or stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Through email, and then the child actor, she would get emails. She didn't think nothing about it. She would tell her mom, "Oh, I'm getting an email from blase. I think his name was Jason, something like that.
Maybe
Jason. Getting emails from blah blah blah. Little girl didn't think nothing of it because the emails were innocent at first. And then, like I said, and then one day he just sends her an explicit photo and an email, and she immediately screams, tells her mom, shows her mother, and then the mom, on the documentary, the mom was like, well, at that point, part of me wanted to call 911, and part of me did because I knew the turmoil and that my child would go through, basically. So this mother decides not to call 911 after seeing proof that this guy was a predator. Now, when I was watching it, I told you, Emil, I was like, I would have definitely called 911. Bump it. How can you even think about it?
Oh, yeah, I remember that conversation. And I was telling you as well that, some of the parents, they're like scared because they didn't want their kid to like be out of a job or whatever if they were the primarily income.
Yeah.
And then because from what I be hearing is like if they're a producer or something, they can get you fired. And they can like tell the other producers, be like, oh, don't hire her, she can't work here, stuff like that.
I mean, when you have proof like that, then call 911. You got proof. There's no need. You're not going to get blackballed from the industry. You got proof at that point that guy's a predator. But eventually this guy ends up getting arrested anyway because they found other stuff. They
found like a book of stuff.
They found other stuff, book of stuff.
No. I think what it was is they found like a Ziploc bag.
Ziploc bags
and they had her underwear
and
her name on it.
Things, yeah.
Yeah.
That he was keeping for mementos of other child actors as well. So he eventually gets caught. But That mother should have definitely called 911. I don't care what the ramifications were. You know, anyway. Man, I just thought that was just crazy, though. Now, the main one that this whole documentary is about that just surprised me, and it was just so, I would say, out the blue, because
Mind blowing.
thank you. You would never have thought this. If you guys already saw the documentary, you know who exactly I'm talking about. If you haven't saw the documentary, you still know who I'm talking about. It's all over everywhere. But if you haven't watched it to hear Drake Bell's story, then you don't have the full thing about it. Even though there's clips online and stuff, but just
Clips
to hear
on TikTok.
everywhere.
You can probably watch like the whole documentary on TikTok, to be honest, because it'd be like posting
nowadays.
stuff. So.
Yeah, they do nowadays. Mind blowing thing was the Drake Bell, abuse. Let's just put it that way. Abuse, just being abused. It was so shocking. It's so very shocking. Now, Mel, what did you think about it Just what do you think about the
situation? To be honest, I had no idea. Well, of course, no one knew because he never came out.
Not until now.
But still, I would have never thought that.
It was Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Me neither. I mean, and now it's kind of hard because you can't look at Drake and Josh the same. Hell, you can't even look at Drake Bell the same. It's just, man. And to think his whole situation with his dad just knowing his dad actually being a good parent and knowing that this predator was preying on his son, basically. And if you didn't know, what was the guy's name that?
Brian Peck.
Thank you. Yeah, Brian Peck was preying on Drake Bell. And the fact that Drake Bell's dad just knew that was a signal that he's a good parent, man. He saw the signs and he was like, yeah, I don't ever want Brian Peck along with Drake, my son, at all. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the dad made sure when the dad was still there and the dad was still involved with Drake as his manager, Drake's dad made sure he was never along with Brian Peck, right? And of course, Mr. Peck, he
saw that his dad was catching up to the son, so he was filling Drake with lies, saying
manipulating him.
Yeah, manipulating him, saying that he was mishandling the money,
which he wasn't.
He wasn't, and so he kept manipulating him, telling him lies, and then Drake decided that he didn't want his dad to be his manager anymore. So the dad was like heartbroken.
Yeah.
He didn't want to not be the manager anymore, but he had to because he wanted to see his son happy. If that's what he wanted, then he was like, okay, he'll step down as being a manager. But the one thing he told his ex-wife was, do not leave Drake alone with Brian.
Yeah. And she did.
She did.
And she did. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
She did. Now, she did. And then we all know kind of what happens. We know what happens from there. And in this case, man, I don't know why Drake's mom wouldn't listen to the dad. I get it that, Drake's mom and dad were like divorced. They don't like each other, but still, you have to listen and do what's best for your child. Point blank.
Honestly, I don't know if she was with Drake all the time, but if she wasn't, then I guess you can see that she didn't see the signs, obviously.
It's clear that she wasn't paying attention to her son like she needed to. she trusted
Brian
that
way
too,
too much.
and then she trusted Brian, and it's clear that she wasn't around as much probably as she probably needed to, and she trusted Brian, so her trust in Brian was like, okay, I can just leave Drake with this guy. I no, I don't, and then the one that saw this all, and that got kind of the truth out of Drake, because Drake didn't, after his assault happened, he didn't want to say anything. He didn't say anything for a while. He didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell the police. He didn't tell anybody until his girlfriend's mom one day was getting suspicious because Brian was calling
him nonstop.
He
was calling him nonstop.
And
Drake.
then he called Drake's girlfriend's mom's phone.
Yeah,
nonstop.
Because he wouldn't answer the phone, and then
Drake answers the phone.
He answered the phone.
Well, Drake's girlfriend's mom answers the phone.
Yeah, she's like, Drake is for you. And he had to make up an excuse saying, because he really didn't want to go over there. Mm-hmm. So he made an excuse saying he must made a double plans and then hung up. And I guess Brian did not like him because he kept calling and calling and calling. And that's when the girlfriend's mom was like, Drake.
Nah, Brian actually yelled at Drake on the phone because he didn't like it.
Yeah, he got mad as well.
Because he finally talked to Drake, so he was yelling at Drake, and then of course he didn't like. He was upset with Drake, and then Drake's girlfriend's mom could just see it, and then she pulled Drake aside. Was like, "What's going on, Drake?" And then Drake didn't tell her, but then she told Drake's mom like to watch out for this dude or something. I think she did something to kind of help the process a little bit. I think a little bit, not much. Let's get that straight. But she did a lot. She started keeping her eyes open more. I think she probably called the police to I don't think she called the police at that point, but I think she called Drake's mom just to say blah, 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 blah.
No, Drake had to tell his mom eventually. Because he was so angry or
Drake
frustrated.
Never told Drake didn't. Actually, you're right. He did.
Yeah, because he was angry and frustrated. So everything just came out.
Yeah. Angry and frustrated because Brian wanted to be the dad on Drake and Josh. Brian was trying to go for the role of Drake and Josh's dad on Drake and Josh, and Drake did not like that ish, and Drake got mad and blurted out the truth. And that is when Brian gets arrested. And they went to court, of course, and there were a lot of people on Brian's side, to Drake's surprise. A lot of known celebrities that we know the names of today. Very surprising, man. Like, a lot of them wrote letters to the court and just to talk about Brian's good character or whatever. And it's crazy. I was saying that maybe they didn't know the extent of what Brian did, but I'm starting to question that now. Maybe they did know the extent and they were just so good friends with him, they just couldn't see him doing something like that, I guess. I don't know,
but two of them actors, apparently from what I was hearing, they wrote letters about Brian saying he was good, but then once they revealed that who all the people that wrote about Brian being good, they wanted to say they regret writing the letters.
Yeah. But man, and just so you know, Brian did go to jail for like what?
It was on like 6 months.
16 months.
Something like that.
It was like 16 months he went to jail. And yeah, it wasn't that long. Mm-hmm. Got out. Then he worked on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah. Crazy. But that's just to say, this documentary was just so wild, man. And then, not to mention how it was about Drake. Man, that was just a surprising thing of it all. And we didn't even get. And it's shocking that this main child star that everybody knows and that I think should have probably went on a documentary herself was probably Amanda Bynes, but I get why she didn't want to
She
do
don't
it.
want to do it.
I guess she already spoke her truth on Twitter, you know, ages ago, I guess, a couple years ago. So she said something.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that she would say stuff on Twitter, but then people wouldn't believe her.
Yeah. And
Just like Orlando, he was on Disney Channel.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah, they keep saying that he's crazy and people don't want to believe him, but then they actually want to believe him because of the documentary that's coming out. That already came out.
But man, it's just crazy what happened to these people when they were kids, man. That just traumatized them up until now. You know, after seeing this, man, I don't know. Mel, would you let your kids be a child star?
Not a chance. I mean, now apparently they're not letting Dan Schneider near the set, but still, I wouldn't trust anybody.
I feel like, I mean, I wouldn't push it, but I feel like if that's what my child wants to do, then I feel like I have to be there every single step of the way.
Of course you're going to be there.
Have eyes on them, like literally.
That's what I said. Of course you have to be there.
Of course.
No matter what.
Of course. Not trusting nobody. And the moment you ask my child to do something that I feel uncomfortable with, that is it. Can't do it. But my initial thought is, heck no. I don't want my kid to be no child star. It's just so much involved with it. So much that could happen, man.
Okay, I got a question for you. Since we're talking about the documentary. Okay, let's say our kids, they're like 13, 10 to 13, or that age. Or 13 and under. Would you let them watch the Nickelodeon shows from back in the days?
Well, I let them watch the Nickelodeon shows from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they not gonna know. I mean,
like,
I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Young guys, I know what you mean. That's a tough question, but I mean, I can say it was my childhood. I mean,
I guess it just
some of the
depends
shows
on the episodes, to be honest.
Some of the shows. I mean, why not? You know, yeah, sure. I mean, are they even gonna get it? You know what I'm saying? Get what's going on, but.
You're right. I mean, we didn't get it as kids, but once you get older and you keep watching, you figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, it was my childhood. I guess I'll let them watch some shows like Kenan and Kel, because Dan Snyder creator and all, but like he wasn't the showrunner. He wasn't on set. Kenan and Kel. Like
orange soda.
Guess some of the older shows. I mean, they're fine. I mean, it's not. I mean,
the older shows
craziness. I think, you know.
I mean, I'm talking about like
you can see some stuff, but
Zoe 101.
Yeah, you can see some stuff in there like sexual innuendos, but like you said, when you're older, you get it. You can see it. You get what they're trying to say.
True.
Yeah, I can get how it can be. Crazy letting your kid watch it, but I mean, it is a kid show after all. But I don't know, man. It's hard question. But yeah, Dan. If you guys wanted to know, Dan started to issue an apology. He had a whole video, whole sit down, whole interview. I watched the whole thing. It felt very set up.
Obviously, because he got caught.
Very written, very set up. That's how it felt. If you guys want to watch that video, just go ahead and watch it for yourselves. You'll see what I mean. You definitely see what I mean.
I didn't watch it, so.
Yeah, you would see what I mean, too, if you watched it.
Nah.
It's not. You'd be like, bro, really? Okay.
I saw some clips on TikTok and I was like, he got caught. That's the only reason why he wants to say sorry.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, the documentary, yeah, they talked about all these predators, but then Dan Snyder and all that stuff that he was doing, the massages on set, the being just a bad boss in general, yelling, verbal abuse, and probably some other stuff we don't even know about. But it was just crazy. Not illegal, by the way, because he didn't really do anything illegal that we know of. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff he did was just bad boss all the way around. Now, they did have some child labor laws in there where, allow, like, they worked more than they definitely should. Now, that's the illegal part about it. But it's crazy to think about, right? And this is probably just the tip of the iceberg because we don't even know. Like, they probably not even saying it all, man. There's probably some other stuff that we don't even know about. Man, yes, there are going to be more episodes of Quiet on Set, by the way. The 5th one's coming out in April and sometime, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's crazy what happened to these kids. I feel for them. I do, man. Man, no child actor should have to go through that. And as a man, just keep your child safe, y'all. Keep your children safe. If they're a child star, make sure you're always there. Make sure you just overseeing everything, man. If you have a question, if you feel uncomfortable about something, say something. You know what I'm saying? If you see something, say something. All right. So leave your thoughts down in the comments, guys. What do you think? Would you let your child be a child star? What do you think about Quiet on Set? Dan Snyder, everything. Let us know, guys, down in the comments. So, guys, make sure you check out a couple more videos right here on this channel. And also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more from the channel.